Hey guys, Pete from Crunch Time Coaching, and we are on video 2 of a 3-part series on YouTube to generating power on your serve. So many people want to generate power on their serve. If you're happen to follow this video first, you can click up here and you should be able to go back and watch video 1 if you haven't done so, because in video 1 we discussed what are the important elements of the serve. We want to make sure that we're using the kinetic chain, the whole entire body. Even though you can get a lot of power just with your arm, we don't want to do that because you're going to end up getting hurt. And you're going to get tired in your matches too. Your arm's going to wear out. So we want to learn how to use the whole body. So in this video, what we're going to do today is we're going to show you 3 exercises for building momentum in your arm, starting to really feel that, develop a live arm, a good throwing motion. And then we're also going to show you 3 exercises for the legs, how you can start and incorporate the legs, and then we'll tie it all together. First of all, let's start with the arm. And I think it is important that if you're somebody who doesn't naturally throw a ball well, that you want to learn how to throw a ball. So the first thing we're going to do is just teach you how to throw a tennis ball. And I like to hold the ball in these 3 fingers right here. And I want to be loose in my wrist. I want to snap it, but it's just not all about the wrist. You need to, the wrist is like the very last thing to start snapping. It's really about building the momentum up in the arm. So in the kinetic chain, if we were to start from the legs, we'd be starting from the legs, then up in through the hips, and then we start to snap. So even though we're throwing and we just think of a throw as our arm, we're actually still using the entire body in our throw. And what I want you to first do is get that ball up by your ear and make sure that your elbow is aligned with your shoulder but slightly in a downward slope, right? So you can see that it's slightly going down. It's like I'm making a muscle for somebody, except for I don't want to be tight. I actually want to be quite loose, quite relaxed, okay? And so we come here, we wind up, we come to about here, and this is where we're going to release. And when we're doing that, we're feeling like a whip. I'm actually thinking about whipping back here and then releasing right there and then relaxing through, just like I would on a serve. So first thing we're gonna do is just practice getting that. So I suggest that you just start having a catch with a friend, whether they're close or across the net. It's all about, you know, how good you are at throwing. But this is a great exercise, and look how I'm also using the core to unload from there. I'm also, again, this is about working the arm, but look how I'm also, as I'm releasing, as I'm starting that release, I'm turning the toe. See that? So again, even though we're working on our arm, we're still using our whole body. To be a good thrower, you still want to use your whole body. So I'm getting there, and it's still kind of working from the ground, up here by my ear, coiled up a little bit, and then snapping through. And look how I'm relaxed down here. Another thing as I'm doing, which will be called pronation on the serve, is as I'm throwing, my arm, my hand is actually coming out this way. See that? Coming away from me and then around. So I get set and I throw and I go away from me. That's called a pronation, and then around. And it's with that snap. So when you snap out that way and then around. And that's called a pronation on a serve. So I'm here, getting set, and go. And so you just want to get good and comfortable with that, learning how to throw a ball and using your entire body to throw a ball. Now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to take it to the next level, because serving and throwing, it's not quite exactly the same. It's a little bit different than just a straight out having a catch with somebody straight ahead of you. And I'm going to show you in a second here how it's like being the football quarterback and throwing the Hail Mary long bomb pass, and show you an exercise you can do for that. All right, so let's see how this works, guys. I got a camera right here on me, a camera behind me showing the fence, and so I'm really tight in between the fence. This is gonna be tough, and actually you could probably move a little further away, but I'm going to attempt to do this. And what I want to show you, the idea that serving is not just about throwing forward. When you're going to serve, you're actually hitting up on the ball. So a great thing to practice, especially when you want to start adding spin, a kick serve, things like that. The more you're going to be adding spins to your serve, the better you want to get at this idea. And that is throwing up at your serve, throwing the racket head up at the ball. And so I suggest that once you start feeling comfortable with the throw, now you go into what's called the Hail Mary pass at the end of a football game, and you practice throwing over a fence. And that's really going to help you get the idea of swinging up on a ball. You don't have to throw the ball far. I'm just throwing over that fence. I don't know how much we're capturing of it going over the fence. Hopefully we can see the ball going over the fence. I'll check it out. But this is just something you can do. And the more you're relaxed and not fighting yourself, and look how I'm kind of arcing down too. Again, we're talking about the arm, but look how we're using the body. We're using the body position to get more low here and going up. And a lot of people don't do this on their serve. They get here and they go down. That's why I hit a lot of serves in the net. But you can see I'm really getting myself set up like that, throwing it up and over the fence, nice and relaxed. And so this is the next progression of really starting to get a nice, relaxed, and loose arm that's going to ultimately build a lot of power into your serve. So we'll be back with our third arm exercise. It's going to tie everything together. You do these 3 exercises, you cannot help but get a better serving motion with your arm and build more power into your serve effortlessly. All right, final exercise for you to get that nice live arm. One of the things that's so important for a serve is that it does a couple things. Number one, you build momentum with your arm into the serve. And number 2 is that it's a nice continuous motion. So many people have hitches and glitches. So what I want you to do is just practice with your racket and letting the racket momentum do a lot of the work. So just getting the idea of holding the racket in your fingertips and taking it back and seeing how far it can go back for you. And now I've turned it into this angle, so now I'm holding the racket like this and seeing how much momentum the racket can build on its own without you. See, it's kind of like a windmill. Once it's started, it's not stopping. You see how it's got that nice rhythm loop? Actually, Serena Williams does this before a match, and she's got one of the best serves ever. And so look how I'm doing this, guys. See that? I'm going to turn to the back. But what I want to show you right now is I'm holding the racket in these 2 fingers. And I'm letting the racket do all the work. So look at it from the back. And notice how as I'm coming down here too, I'm also getting up on my tippy toes to make sure that my throw, when I come out of the loop, it goes up. Very, very important. And so you do those 3 exercises. You do the throw, then you do the throwing over the fence. Then you work your racket to where the racket is basically working on its own. You're just kind of along for the ride. That's how you start to get easy power. All right, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to focus on 3 leg moves for you to really build some power into that serve. All right, so exercise number 1 is the rock and roll leg exercise, all right? And that is just the idea of getting your body to flow. So the way I want to serve is I want to come back to front. And I like to feel that it's just a smooth, rhythmic back and forth flow that kind of happens naturally. So I think of it as like a rock and roll, right? So I'm gonna rock back, flow forward, and then jump into it. Now, again, you notice that I step up. Lots of pros, they do the step up move. You don't have to. You can also keep your legs both on the ground, but it's still that same idea of rocking back and then coming in. So you want to get comfortable with that. Now, when I make my first move, watch how my leg locks out. So the first move, you want your leg, your front leg, to lock out on you. So you want it fairly straight. I see some people do this. That's going to actually lose power. You watch all the pros when they come back. This locks out, and then there's lots of weight and pressure back here. So that's your first move. So coming here, lock it back, get it up, and hit that serve. Okay? So that's the rock and roll movement. You just practice that over and over again. Rock back, step up, and jump into that serve. All right? The next thing we're going to do is we're then going to really start to feel the power in our legs and the idea of throwing up. I think that this is a great exercise to have our kids do this here to really feel the power in their serve. Now, you don't have to, depending on your age and your flexibility, you don't actually have to come down and pick up the ball if it's too much for you. But the idea of coming down and picking up at your comfort level to where you feel maybe some kind of stress on your legs. But let's say you can go all the way down. You come down here and you pick up the ball and then you throw out of it. You just practice that. You get yourself 2 or 3 balls at a time. So I'll just show you 2 balls. So we'll get 2 balls. And the idea is I'm going to get down and explode out of there and throw up. So I'm going to come back, reach for a ball, and throw up out of it. We want it to be in a continuous motion. Again, coming down, reaching for the ball, throwing up out of it, really feeling that explosion from back to front, and that you do get angled like this. I think that's so important on your serve. And then we're going to be back with our final and third leg exercise. You do all these with the arms, we're building a big serve. All right, so now we're going to get to our third and final leg exercise where we got a platform, okay? So I like this idea. If you don't have a platform, that's okay, but if you do, go out and get yourself one. You can get a step like this, I'm sure online at eBay or any exercise equipment store. But I love to bring this out and have the kids jump off this, and you can really start to feel the idea of getting up in the air, what that does, and just the leverage of the higher you get, how you can really just crush a serve. So once you get used to the feeling of what your legs feel like, you can really feel what it's like to kind of go up and hit down on that court. You can see that right there. And it also helps with your balance. Once you get comfortable with this, it's going to help you with your balance when you leave the air. When you leave the ground and go into the air, excuse me. So here it is right here. Jumping off that, and really can hit that serve pretty big off that platform. All right, guys, so there we go. In this video, we went over 3 arm exercises, 3 leg exercises to really build the power. What we're gonna do in our next video, video number 3, our final video, is we're gonna show you how to put it all together, how to put the legs and the arms together and be able to establish balance while being so aggressive with our body so that we can add power but not sacrifice control. And I think that that's a big thing. I even had somebody write that request down the other day, is they want to be able to add power but not lose their control. So that's what video 3 is going to all be about. Plus, in video 3, we're going to show you, we're going to measure my serve speed now that I'm using my entire body, and we're going to see what that equals when we're maxing out using every inch of our body for the serve. And so you don't want to miss that. And we'll be right back. So all you got to do, again, this is a 3-part series on YouTube. So popping up right now should be video 1 and video 3 coming ahead. And so make sure you check it out and enjoy it. And I'll be right back with video 3.